All right. Good morning, boys. Quickly confirm if you can hear me and we'll begin the call. All right, perfect. I'll give about 30 more seconds for other students to join in and then we'll begin the call. Obviously, the action yesterday was underwhelming. So, you guys saw the chop, you guys saw the move at the end of the day, too. I mean, if you got into the end of the day move, that's great. But at the same time, like if you paid attention to the warnings, it kept you out of the madness. And that's ideal. If you don't find good trading action, it's better to sit out rather than being in and being fidgety about it. At times you will miss a move. Something happened to me in this morning in futures when price went to my target and a lot lower than that and I fucking missed it. But at the same time, there's so many opportunities, it doesn't matter. All right, let's begin the call. So yesterday we got a chop. At the end of the day, we got some sell-off. Now in the pre-market, we have had some wild action. We opened weak. That's in Asia. Market opened weak. It had a solid bounce in the European session, and then within the last hour, it has given away all its gains. So when I had typed out about the daily analysis, I think SPY was around 397 or something. Now it's below 395. 396. It's at 395.5 to be exact. So what does that do for us? What does that do for expectations today? Well, my expectation is still the same. If you look at dollar index overnight, it was sold like crazy and now it's finally starting to rise up. I expect it to get stronger today. I had also mentioned in the weekend watch list and a few times in the last 2 days that I'm looking for expansion lower into the second half of the week. Guess where we are in the second half of the week? So I'm expecting expansion lower. What will be my ideal scenario? My ideal scenario would be some form of a bounce in the first half an hour that closes the gap to the 396.2 area and then sell off. That's my ideal scenario. Hopefully the PMI report at 10 o'clock helps with that, filling the gap. And that's what I will be looking out for. In terms of names from the watch list, let's discuss the SPY levels real quick. SPY levels below 396 is 394. So ideally, if we get a retest of that, if we close the gap at 396.2 and reject, then your first target lower would be 394. If we go above that gap, right, like if we close the gap at 396.2 and try to go higher, the first resistance is 397.5. You're already familiar with that resistance by that point. By this point, there's not much more to say. All right, with that covered, above 397.5 area, we can, that's where bears don't want to see price go, because above that, we can start to see an explosive move higher to 399, 401, and 402.5. So ideally, bears at this point keep price below 397.5. So the support below 396 is 394. Below 394, we can start a bigger sell-off. Today could be like that sell-off day where we go to 388 to 390 level next. Those are the levels for the day. You already know my opinion on DXY. You already know the game plan of what I'm expecting the first half an hour and after. That's it. That's all you need to know. We'll see if our watch list names start breaking out today. We obviously got consolidation for the first 2 days, so not much happened. Today could be the big day. So let's see what we get. Now, if you have any questions, type them up in the chat one by one and we'll go through them. In the meantime, there was a question asked to me yesterday about my long-term view for S&P 500 and if long-term puts would be a good idea. And I had mentioned long-term puts would be a good idea because, well, I would say long-term puts would be a good idea because in terms of macro situation, yields are breaking their multi-year highs and dollar is heading higher. Where my expectation is dollar will go over its October-November highs, the ones it set around 114. What that means is there will be pressure on the equity market. Now, if someone wants to get into long-term puts, they're thinking, is this a good idea right now? Or maybe we can go and retest 430 again. So for that, yes, you won't get confirmation that we are going lower right away until we break below 390, right? That's the bull bear line of the consolidation we have been in for the last 10 months. So that's it. That's your confirmation. If we break below 390, then yes, we go lower directly. At the same time, I had mentioned that my expectation is that March 31st, we close, SPX closes at 3630. Now, why did I say that? If you guys remember from the end of September, from the end of December, from the end of June of last year, JPM, JP Morgan has big positions that tend to be a magnet for price. And right now that 3630 level on SPX is like a black hole sucking price towards it. It's either that or 4060 is the other level. Given how the macro situation is, I'm leaning towards the lower one. So that's why I had mentioned that level, and which also means that I'm expecting downside in March. Let's see how it plays out. If you have any more questions about that, you can ask me in the chat. All right. First question here. What levels to enter long for X? X entry was yesterday. I had mentioned it a few times. You can see it in trade ideas. The entry was at $30, not when it gapped up $1.5 above entry at 31.5. So you missed X. If now if you get a retest of X at 30 level in a day or two, great, you can enter again. But right now, today, you missed it. Today is the day to take profits on X. Next question, how can I set an alert on my 9 EMA on TradingView so I get alerted when it crosses the line? You can set alert at a price level. I think there are other settings too. I will have to look into it. All right, next question, inflation in Germany, what could that do to the market? It's going to bring it lower. Next question, Ayush, can you look at Chipotle? Nice little box going past couple of days, maybe go lower, fill the gap. There's a high chance it broke down. It broke down pretty badly. It's going, yes, solid consolidation in the last couple of days. If it breaks below 1478, then you can take a zone to zone trade for a move to 1415, and below 1415, it can probably go to 1361. Next question. Good morning, Prof. If BA retest 203 zone, could that be a good entry? Yes, but I think it already retested it 2 days ago and you might have missed the entry. Next question, could you mention QQQ levels? Of course. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the QQQ chart. All right, QQQ resistance right away is at 295. That's always been the resistance at 295 to 298 zone, which I've drawn out a few times. On the support side, we have 290. Well, if you're looking for hourly supports, let's see, 292 is a level, 290 is a level. Below 290, you can go to 288. Then you have probably 285 after that. Most likely 285 followed, well, 284 followed by that. All right, next question. Do you use, yeah, I get the introspective student. I get the idea. You want an alert when price crosses 9 EMA. I haven't really set that setting before, but I think you have, if you go in the setting, right, like when you put an alert, let's say you add an alert and then you go and check, 1 sec. All right, so if you add an alert and then you go right click on it and go to settings, I think you can change it on how you want the alert to be. So you can add an alert based on price and then change it. Next question, do you use alerts other than price levels? No. Next question, 1 sec. SPY up before 10 a.m. then SPY down. That's my expectation, to hopefully close the gap by 10 a.m. That would make it easier for the action today. Next question, do you see BNTX continuing downwards? Yes, I expect BNTX to at least get to the 127 level that I've been mentioning, 126.5 to 127. All right, next question. Prof, my bad. I had a little trouble with Wi-Fi. Don't know if you already told us, but what's the expectation for today on equity markets? It's the same thing I discussed in the daily analysis. I would expect price to close the gap at least to 396.2 and hopefully reject there for a short. If it does that, then the support on the downside will be 394, and below 394, we can see a bigger move lower. Next question, would it be in my best interest to load up on SLV calls and SPY puts if we see that bounce we are anticipating today? I don't know about SLV calls yet. SPY puts, as I said, confirmation is below 390. If you want to wait till then, that's great, especially if you're taking the longer term puts. Next question also, why do you normally use out the money contracts for swings? Well, they're cheaper and they profit more if price moves in their favor. Next question, I'm presuming there won't be any trades until after 10 a.m. prof. Ideally, no. All right, next question. Hello, does TTW look good to short on? I believe it could hit for 104.77. What are your thoughts on it if you don't mind? I had TTW on the watch list, right? I think I did. Let me check real quick. Yeah, I do. So for TTW, my alert is set at 107.18. If it breaks and holds below 107 level, right below the 50-day moving average, then the next level is, I think, around 102, and below that it can go to 97. If you don't know the levels, go look at trade ideas. I have it on my watch list. Next question. So for X, it's best to sell it today. If you got a short-term call on it, yes. If like there was one student who asked about X and he had March 3 calls on it. Yes, take profits right at the open. If you got something like March 24th or something longer, you can hold for a move higher. Next question, why is a stock like Chipotle expensive while Apple or Tesla is much cheaper? Guys, the price value of a stock depends on the amount of stock available and the market value of the company, right? So let's say a market value of a company is high, let's say $1 trillion, but it also has a lot of stock, let's say 100 billion. So its stock price would be $10. While if another company is only $100 billion, but it only has 1 billion stock, then its stock price will be $10. Sorry, $100. I hope you guys get the idea. The total value of a company is the number of shares available multiplied by stock price. All right. Yeah, the gap just got way larger. Great. I hope it gives us an entry because I will be pissed off otherwise. But oh well. We still have our swings, right? How's VIX and ARC doing? Hopefully they start to benefit if we miss new entries. Next question, what are your thoughts on smart money concepts? It's genius. I have looked into it and I think my strategy and my analysis have benefited from it. So learn from wherever you can. And always be humble enough to learn. Don't think you already know everything. Next question, thoughts on NVIDIA? Let's see. NVIDIA has consolidated in the same range for the last 4 days. I discussed it on the pre-market call on Monday. If it breaks below 230, you can see a gap fill all the way to 211 area. If it breaks above 240, you can see a gap fill on the higher side. That's my opinion on NVIDIA. Wait. Next question. Hey, Prof, as Rumble is close to dropping below $8, how risky would it be to invest in? Guys, you have to realize, like, I get the hype behind Rumble, but at the same time, we are in a risk-off environment. No one is really putting their money in stock like Rumble. Right? Like when the biggest tech stocks cannot survive, like Rumble has ways to go. So yes, Rumble will keep chopping around for months, if not years, before it breaks out. Right now, it can go back to $6 again without any problems, and it won't change anything. Next question, Prof, thoughts on CVX. CVX, well, not much. CVX is testing an important level of 160 area. Ideally, it can bounce from here. If it goes above 165, it will close the gap and likely move to 170. If it breaks below 160, then the next level of support for it is around 154. Next question, Prof, what is a good time frame to scalp? I use 1 minute to 3 minutes and it's hectic like you mentioned in tutorials. Yeah, it is. So you can do 15 minutes, you can do 1 hour, 5 minutes. You have to decide that for yourself. I know guys who do it on 30 seconds and they're fine. I know guys who do it on 15 minutes and they're fine. So personally, I like it 5 minutes and above. The lowest I go is 3 minutes. I never go below that. But for options, I won't scalp anything less than 15 minutes to half an hour. For futures, I sometimes go down to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, but that's it. Next question. Hey, Prof, what are your thoughts on CRWD? Could a box breakout be possible soon? Guys, it's same thing I mentioned on Monday. My bias is lower. That's why I didn't take the scalp on CRWD. It has provided two scalps in 2 days. I'm not too hopeful for the break higher. That's it. So if it breaks higher and goes, great. I won't participate in it because the indices want to go lower. The bias is lower. By the way, as we had mentioned yesterday, keep an eye out on Dow Jones today, the DIA. It's like looking to break that weekly zone that we had mentioned in the watch list for a month now. So that could be a good trade today. Next question, my bad. But with X, will it be recommended to short or go long? With X, you went long yesterday, and the reason X is different from CRWD. So you have to realize what kind of stock we're doing. And I discussed it in the pre-market call yesterday. So this is exactly why I discussed it. When inflation goes up, the material stocks like steel producers are strong. That's why X broke out of the 50 DMA box. Look at the market structure of X, look at it on daily chart and compare that to CrowdStrike. Compare that to tech stocks. X is making new highs consistently all the way since the low in July. It has momentum, it has power going up, right? CRWD or tech stocks are doing the exact opposite. So when I say if the indices are going lower, I don't want to participate in a long break, in a bullish breakout. That's for meant for stocks that follow the tech sectors and the S&P 500. If you have stocks that are in a different sector that kind of moves to its own rhythm, then it's a different scenario, and you have to understand that. Next question, can you repeat what you said about trading options or anything less than what? I don't trade options or anything less than 15-minute time frame. But for futures, sometimes I would scalp on 3 minutes, 5 minutes. That's what I was saying. Next question, what trade would you make for DIA, like in terms of strike price and expiration? I think taking a trade out to mid-April or maybe even mid-May, if you want to be safer, would be ideal. And then the strike will depend on your risk parameters. But I think 315 strikes should be good. All right, guys, seems like those are all the questions for the day. And we're getting close to the market open. Let's get in there and let's hope we have a good day. Good luck.